another byproduct of this program have been internships and coming into the workforce directly out of high school. Through this program, we've secured over 7 or 8 internships for students that are connected to these counselors that have been connected to the program. So it's about learning what's out there and what's available and who to contact and how they want to help.
That's the voice of Stacy Garman, president of the Castle Rock Chamber of Commerce in Castle Rock, Colorado. We're talking with her today about the Chamber's Tours for Teachers initiative, prepping teachers, counselors, and school administrators to coach their students on job opportunities in the region. Keep listening for replicable tips on keeping your workforce players connected. This is our last episode of the season, but we'll be back later this summer with more insightful interviews. I'm Amanda Ellis, and you're listening to Inside America's Best Cities, a podcast for chamber, economic development, and talent attraction professionals. Learn more about this podcast at livabilitymedia.com. And with that, let's jump in. Welcome, Stacy, to Inside America's Best Cities. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We're here today to talk about your Tours for Teachers initiative and how you're tying that in with some of your workforce efforts, the education community in Castle Rock. Can you kick us off by just talking about what is this?
Sure. So our Tours for Teachers initiative is a new initiative for our chamber. I'll give you the specifics about it, and then we can kind of, talk in real life. So Tours for Teachers is a program by the Castle Rock Chamber designed to help educators bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world skills. By participating in behind-the-scenes tours of local businesses and industries in Douglas County, teachers, administrators, counselors, and anyone else included in the CTE staff can gain valuable insights into current workforce needs and career opportunities. So a lot of this is once we've met with business owners, once we've met with the school district employees, they talk and they discuss, this is what's happening in our job force now. So as you're preparing the students, they need to know these 3 things for me to be able to hire them or for me to be able to train them. So a lot of curriculum adjustments are happening on the back end to better prepare the students for the workforce.
So is this mostly targeted toward people working with high school students that are closer to entering the workforce?
Yes, it is targeting high school students going to 2-year college, going to 4-year college, and also coming right out of high school into the workforce. So it's only directed at high school students. There's 16 high schools in Douglas County, and so we work with all 16 of those.
Okay, so logistically, it looks like you have different industry-focused days where they might go in with one specific employer or a couple sort of around a certain industry cluster. Can teachers that decide they want to participate in this, do they have to sign up for everything that's happening in a given year or semester, or is it just sign up for a day that makes the most sense?
Yes. So the good news is we've had 2 of these tour groups. We had one in fall of 22 and we had one in fall of 23. So we've made some adjustments because fall of 22 is your inaugural season. And so making adjustments for that very reason, because a lot of the different teachers and administrators, counselors, they were more interested in certain segments. So once they decided on a day, then they were able to participate fully.
Where'd you get the idea for this program? Is it something you're replicating from another community or something?
Yes. So anybody in the chamber industry understands this. So we always have ideas. And if there's ideas from another chamber that would work in your community, chambers are very willing to share that information, the do's, the don'ts, the lessons learned, things like that. So the Castle Rock Chamber went to Gilbert, Arizona Chamber. They had a Tours for Teacher program already in place there. So we learned all about what are the things that they did, how did they engage with the school district, how did they engage with the business community. And so all of the participants that went from Douglas County were from 4-year college, Colorado State University, Arapahoe Community College, which is our 2-year college. We also had participants from the Douglas County School District, government, technology, automotive, healthcare, construction. So it was a whole gamut of, participants that went to learn more so they could come back and develop this program.
I know you said it's relatively new, but what feedback have you gotten so far?
We really have had great feedback. As you mentioned, some of the feedback that we received was we really only want to participate in one day, not the entire 3 days. So that was one of the changes that we've made. But another part of the feedback that we received was we need different pathways. What about some of your businesses, some of your marketing, some of your anything from biology to EMTs, things like that. So we talked with the school district this year and said, okay, we need to expand our pathways. We would love to do that. And so Douglas County and Colorado have a career cluster model that we work with for CTE pathways. And so we have designed all of our classes based on that cluster model. It aligns perfectly with all three of those. And some of the different areas are skilled trades and technical services, health science and criminal justice, agriculture, engineering and technology, hospitality, and then business, marketing, entrepreneur, the business sector.
Okay, so you've got some high school paths built around that already, and then you're sort of further building those out with these connections and getting these folks out. I love that.
Exactly.
That is very cool. And again, getting that like really current perspective from people in that space now and what they really need. So you mentioned folks wanting to, say maybe, hey, maybe I only want to do one day of this versus three. And that got me thinking about how hard it is for teachers to be out of the classroom to do some extra curricular, so to speak, for them, things like this. How are you all working around that?
So it's been very interesting. The Douglas County School District has been involved with this program from the beginning. They are really invested in the students' learning, the students' initiatives into what the workforce looks like, and to make sure that what they're teaching in the curriculum meets those needs. So the school district has been very gracious with the time. They allow the teachers to be out of the classroom and they provide the substitute teachers for that one day that they're out.
Gotcha. So I know you said that this is, again, relatively new, but what are your thoughts on if this has already had an impact on the number of graduates that end up staying local, or if it will? Is that part of the thought process with this?
Sure. So, the overall goal of the program is for educators to be teaching the curriculum that meets the needs of our employers. So, with that, we're hoping that the students continue on to go to Colorado State, to go to Arapahoe Community College, to stay local, to go straight into the workforce. So, that is our goal for the end result of this program.
Gotcha. I saw also that they get a continuing education credit for participate. What is that exactly?
Every year, or actually, it's over a course of 7 years, teachers and educators are required by the Colorado Department of Educators to renew their professional license. So that's every 7 years. And to do so, they must complete 90 contact hours of professional learning. So, with our collaboration and partnership with the school district, they have approved Tours for Teachers as a qualification for continuing education credits. So they participate, and then the school district grants them those continuing education credits.
I did not know that. I wonder if every state has something like that. I guess maybe probably. Huh. Have the employers and the businesses that have helped on that side of things, have they generally been pretty eager to participate, or has it taken time to bring them on board and get them investing time in that?
It really has been very easy. The employers and businesses in Douglas County want to engage with our students and want to engage with the school district. And they are basically coming to me saying, hey, we want to be a part of this program, especially now that they know that we're expanding it. So we've only had fall programs for the last 2 years. This upcoming school year, we're going to have a fall program and a spring program. Each program is 3 tours. In the past 2 years, we've had 3 tours per year, and this coming year, we're going to have 6. So, with that, you have to think we have 14 industries represented in each of the 3 tours. That's going to be 28 of our businesses being engaged with our students.
How many participants do you typically have going on the tour at a time?
The first year, we had 14. The second year, we had 24. So you can see that there's a progression of growth in participants and then also in the number of tours that we're going to have. Based on that, we are looking to have a very robust program this year. And it's not just teachers that are in the classroom, you're also talking about administrators, vice principals, counselors who are working with these students to come up with a 4-year plan and then their plans after high school as well.
So they typically would have like the whole day blocked, and then they're going to multiple locations and getting, I guess, a literal tour probably sometimes, and then just getting to hear from people that are experts.
Correct. Some examples of some of the tours, like we toured Lockheed and talked to some of their interns, talked to some of their newly recruited employees, young professionals. So that's also interesting to hear what they've had to say and how they entered into, their new jobs. We've also toured water plants, utility plants, electrical, gas. But we also have talked to bankers, we've talked to automotive. So it's a whole wide range of businesses that we're connecting with. But also, too, I think it's important through this program, we have really talked about, hey, we know that this is our utility company. However, the utility company has marketing, they have human resources, they have customer service. So there's a lot of opportunity within each of the businesses that some of the students may not be thinking about.
So have you actually gotten to go on one of these?
I've actually gone on all of them. So,
Okay. So
yes.
have you learned anything, even being as engaged with the businesses and the community as you are as the chamber president? Have you learned anything that surprised you?
I learn new things every time we go. So it is also the interesting thing about these tours is when you get teachers, administrative counselors together, they have a lot of questions. They're very inquisitive and they want to meet the needs and they want to help the students. So it's that drive and the passion for education that has really made this program successful.
Yeah, I love seeing there just be a lot more intentionality around helping those high school kids think about what they want to do, because even me thinking back to that time, which was a while ago now, but there just wasn't that. And it's nice to see that and giving them tools to talk about industries that might not be the first thing people think of, right? But are still such a big source of jobs, and you think about like manufacturing even, and how much like that's changed as the type of job it is, but people's perceptions can really lag with what they think of when they think of that. And so programs like this are just really valuable in those ways.
It's also interesting too. Another byproduct of this program have been internships and coming into the workforce directly out of high school. Through this program, we've secured over 7 or 8 internships for students that are connected to these counselors that have been connected to the program. So it's about learning what's out there and what's available and who to contact and who to get in touch with and how they want to help. So a lot of the internships have been based on some of the tours that we've had. So that's been a really great connection for our businesses to the educators.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any favorite success stories from this, like from a maybe a specific student getting connected with an internship or just some feedback from a teacher?
Yeah, so the internships have been really great because everybody is looking for employees. Everybody is looking for the next new ideas and the students that are fresh, that are, inquisitive, that are excited about coming to work and having new jobs. But kind of a favorite success was actually for the chamber. So we were on a tour and our small business awards were coming up, and those are our business of the month awards. We have a celebration and award given to some of our longstanding members. So I was speaking to some of the attendees on the tour, and I said, do any of y'all use 3D printers? Your students have classes for that? And so 2 of them did, 2 from different high schools. They had CTE students that were learning 3D printing. So I said, do you think that you could 3D print awards and we could present those to our businesses? And they said, sure. I said, you can turn it into a project. You can have a contest, whatever you think is appropriate. So they did it different. One of them turned it into a project and one of them turned it into a contest. And so we knew who was getting the award. So if it was a sign company, the award looks like the frontage of a sign company. If it was a utility, it looks like wires and utility poles. So they personalized each of the awards based on who was receiving them. So we did a public interest kind of story on that. It's on our website as well. And then the school district sent it out also. So it was just interesting to be able to connect in that way.
Yeah, just an interesting tie-in. It's probably brought up, a lot of that and just different ways of doing things, which we're always looking for. Well, we always close out with a fun question. And the fun question is, if someone were visiting Castle Rock for the first time, what is a bucket list item they should be sure to do if you had to pick one thing?
So Castle Rock is known for star lighting. So star lighting is the lighting of a star on the Castle Rock. You can also hike up to the Castle Rock. We have tons of small businesses and restaurants, things like that. So we would love to have anyone visit. And if you need any information, the chamber is your source.
We know where to go. One of my very good friends is from Castle Rock, actually. So it's been a very long time since I've been. It's a college friend, but had been there to visit her a couple times. So I have seen the rock. I have not gotten to climb it, but I know that she has had really good things to say. And I always send her your content, and she doesn't live there anymore. So she's always like, love to know and stay updated. So very cool. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for taking some time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for listening to the Livability Podcast, where we take you inside America's best cities. At Livability, we highlight the unsung awesomeness of small and mid-sized cities across the country. We also partner with communities to reach their target companies and potential residents through digital content and print magazine programs. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, rate, and review this show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also learn more about us at livabilitymedia.com. Have an idea for an upcoming episode? Email me at aellis@livability.com. Until next time, from Livability, I'm Amanda Ellis, sharing the stories of America's most promising places.